Free world.
Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster, snuff the money mover. Snuff the hater, snuff the player, snuff your hairline, tape up and shape up.
Hail to the Culture, a Washington football team podcast. I'm still trying to get used to saying that. As always, it is your boy Rome. I'm here with my man Bryce. Bryce, let the people know how you doing.
Hey, man, I'm doing great. And like you said, bro, that still don't sit right just yet, but I'm sure it will grow on us, man. A Washington football team podcast. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's jump straight into it, man. We got a lot of news to get into today. There's obviously some rebranding going on with the team. We're going to touch on that. Alex Smith is officially cleared as well as Reuben Foster. And we're going to talk about the Darius Guy situation. But we're going to get you guys started with these COVID updates and the fact that there's no preseason that is going to take place. So that is going to affect how things will, or at least how the start of the season will look. As far as COVID updates, I believe there was only two Washington players that opted out. Caleb Brantley, and I believe it was Josh Harvey Clemens that also opted out. We're going to talk a little bit about the linebacker position here, too. And with Clemens out, that kind of opens up a spot. But with no preseason, it's also going to be a little difficult for guys to earn spots. So, Bryce, how do you see, the whole COVID thing and the no preseason affecting how this team might look in the beginning of the season?
Hey, man, I think that's a really good question because, there's usually that opportunity for guys to earn spots that maybe they weren't really thought of going into the season, So we've seen that over the last couple of years. I mean, look at just last season. You had a rookie like Cole Holcomb come in. He showed a lot during the preseason, and we knew this could be a guy that's fighting for a starting job, and sure enough, he ended up being a starter throughout the season. So there might be some guys that miss out on that opportunity. But on the flip side, I've been clamoring for no preseason or less preseason forever. So I'm not too upset about this because at the end of the day, we're minimizing the risk that our guys are going through. As far as the COVID itself, I think it's an interesting time, especially for the NFL. And I think that leadership right now, more than ever, is going to be what these teams have to lean on because you've got to have leaders that are able to convince the rest of their guys that they should not be out here, wilding in these streets, basically. You know what I mean? These guys got to understand that they've got a responsibility to stay COVID-free so that they can be on the field. And I can't even imagine, man, if an outbreak goes on and you only have a 53-man roster and you got 7 guys with COVID, on game day. It really makes me wonder how this is going to end up. But like I said, this is the time where you got to lean on the leadership. So I'm happy that the Redskins, in my opinion, have a few strong leaders, especially bringing in a guy like Thomas Davis as well, Ryan Kerrigan, to mention a few more. But I really think that the leadership is going to be important during this time.
Yes, I'm glad you touched on leadership because that's really, in my opinion, going to be what makes the difference for all the teams around the league. The NFL isn't doing a bubble like the NBA, so it's really going to be a lot of self-responsibility and team responsibility, making sure that your guys are out here, trying to get some wings from the local strip joints. I know they're good, but you gotta stay focused on the bigger picture out here. And as far as the no preseason, I agree with you on it will minimize the risk of players getting injured, and we hate to see players get injured, especially top stars get hurt in meaningless preseason games. But for me, and as it pertains to the Washington team, I think it's going to hurt this team more than most teams. A team that's already established, like the Chiefs or a team with a bunch of veterans out there, they really don't need preseason. But as we're about to talk about here in a minute, we have a lot of position battles going on in D.C., left guard and left tackle, certain spots where I think a little bit of live game action, a little bit of the unknown of what the other player is going to do when he's coming at you full speed as opposed to a controlled practice setting. I think certain positions need that, especially when they're not guys that are already established. I'm genuinely concerned at how our left tackle, whoever that may be, come week 1, is going to fare against the pass rush like the Eagles with no actual live game action leading up to that. It'll be fair because they won't have any live game action, obviously, leading up to it also, but I think it'll be interesting to see how non-veterans and rookies, how they fare with their first NFL action being actual regular season games. I think that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, man. It makes me a little nervous, man. Hopefully, whoever the left tackle ends up being, they're ready to rock and roll. I mean, that's another position we're going to have to get into during these position battles as we talk about these over the next couple of weeks for sure.
Yes, and speaking of ready to rock and roll, our guy is back to come back. He's been on one of the longest, craziest journeys in all of sports, to be honest. We mentioned this on a few pods back when we covered the Project 11 that ESPN had on Alex Smith's journey back to the NFL, and he's been cleared. He's been cleared. It is officially official. Alex Smith has been cleared by the team doctors and can resume full football activities. Bryce, we've talked a lot about this. What are your thoughts and feelings on Alex Smith returning to football?
Man, what a story. What a story. What a comeback. I mean, this guy cannot be stopped. This guy has the mental fortitude of just a lion, man. This guy is I'm amazed. I'm amazed. How grim that injury was, what went into just holding his leg together, those ridiculous-looking braces with all of the metal wiring coming out, connecting, going right into his skin, into his bone. And if you just saw that, man, you never would have thought that this guy would have saw the field again. You never would have thought he would have ever been cleared by doctors again, But that just goes to show you what determination gets you. And Alex Smith, from the moment this happened, he was determined. He said it. He was determined to get back on the field. And no matter how his career ends up going from this moment forward, this guy got back on the field, and that there is to be commended. So shout out to Alex Smith, man. What a warrior, what a guy, what an example, and what a leader for this Washington football team.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Alex Smith's story can be used for all of us as a life lesson in many things, man. Never give up. Always keep pushing forward. If he can come back from this man has 17 surgeries, possibly could have lost his leg, possibly could have lost his life, and he still found a way to get back to the game that he loved. If that doesn't inspire you in some form or fashion, you need to check your pulse. Your heart might not be beating, because that is some truly inspiring stuff. I mean, as far as it goes, is him actually playing football and a potential quarterback controversy. The way that I see it, Alex Smith is QB3. Kyle Allen already knows the system. He'll probably be locked in at QB2. Based off everything Ron has said, I believe he even said on local radio that Dwayne would have started the first preseason game. So it's looking like all signs point towards Dwayne Haskins. Even my 6-year-old, when I told him Alex Smith was back, was like, yeah, but it's Dwayne's job. Those were his exact words when I told him about Alex Smith. So anybody out there who thinks that there's some type of controversy or that Smith could potentially take the job now that he's healthy, I would slow that down a bit. Let's just celebrate the fact that Alex Smith is even able to get out and play before we start throwing out any quarterback controversies. But from what I can tell, it's definitely Haskins' job to lose.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that, right? You would think that, but let me be the a slight voice of opposition here. Alex Smith, when he was at his best with the Redskins, had us 6-3, looking like we could get into playoff position, leading in the NFC East, looking like we might just run with it. I mean, I don't know what Alex Smith we will get, and everyone is assuming, as am I, but everyone is assuming that he just will not be near the same, and that this leg issue is, going to just kind of overtake the rest of his career. But if this guy comes back to the exact same thing he was when he left, is that better than what Dwayne Haskins was last season? I think yes. Is that better than what Dwayne Haskins' potential is? Maybe not, but that still would be, have to be decided based upon if Dwayne Haskins is reaching his potential this season. And we don't know that yet because we don't have preseason like you mentioned. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not saying that we have a quarterback controversy. I wouldn't say that. But I'm also not just going to count Alex Smith out because everyone counted him out to get to this point right now. So the last thing I'm going to count him out on now is the quarterback controversy between a second-year guy and Dwayne Haskins. I love Dwayne Haskins. I hope he takes the spot. But all I'm saying is I'm not counting Alex Smith out, and I think it would not be wise to at this point because he's proven if you count him out, he can prove you wrong.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I'm not going to act like there's no chance for QB controversy here. I said when they brought Kyle Allen in on this very pod that there was a chance that Kyle Allen could start, and I'm not necessarily off of that either. When I say it's Dwayne's job to lose, I really mean that. I think no preseason could even hurt Dwayne because we're not going to get a chance to see his growth in live action. We need to see him make a play when someone's blitzing and you don't know about the blitz because you didn't run it in practice. We need to see him make a play or shift the line or do the things before the snap, the pre-snap reads. We need to see all that before we can say that Dwayne has matured and really taken the step that we all know that he will eventually take. And if he doesn't take that step, I could certainly see Kyle Allen coming right in early in the season. I could even see Alex Smith if they feel like he has enough of the offense down and is truly healthy enough to do it. I could also see him stepping up. So Dwayne just has to go out there and prove it. And like you said, I believe he will. I know we both believe he will. But it has to be done and it has to be seen, and we got to wait till week 1 against Philly.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hypothetically, though, just hypothetical, man, if Alex Smith does come back to what he was when he left, I mean, I do believe it's a quarterback controversy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not – and I love Dwayne Haskins, like I said. But if Alex Smith ends up being, in this offseason, the same quarterback he was when we were 6-3 before he got hurt, we have a real quarterback competition on our hands, folks.
We might. We'll get back. We'll definitely circle back around to this Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins thing. This is Smith's first day being fully cleared. So who knows, man? We got 3 weeks. Maybe there's a lot more smoke here than we realize. But let's talk about another player who's returning from a pretty devastating knee injury. Tore a bunch of ligaments in that knee, and that is Reuben Foster. We have yet to see Reuben in a Washington uniform or actually play for us. So this is, again, another thing where no preseason will kind of hurt a guy because we would like to see him in that live game action, right? Like to see if he really has that quick step back. But we got to wait till the season starts in order to see that. But Reuben Foster is very interesting because I think he bolsters our linebacking core a ton. And if he can be 2/3 of what he was, then we're going to be looking really good on defense, in my opinion. How do you feel about Reuben Foster coming back and what he could bring potentially to this defense?
Yeah, man, I think we're in another similar situation to Alex Smith. If Reuben Foster is the same guy that he was on the 49ers before he got, before the injuries, then I believe that we got a steal. I believe that we've got a guy that's going to come in here and dominate. I've been listening to the Reuben Foster interviews, and he's been just saying it's all about confidence at this point. So what that tells me is he's yet to gain all the confidence necessary to trust his leg, to trust his recovery yet. And that's understandable. You go through a serious injury. Anybody that's been through an injury, it takes you some time to realize that ligament is back to full strength. You have to trust it. You have to get used to using it again. And if he's able, to get through that process, the faster the better. And I do believe that Reuben Foster, especially because of his age too, Alex Smith is 36. Reuben Foster is still in his mid-20s. This could end up being a steal for this defense, a defense that has needed consistent linebacker play, something we'll get into later.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Reuben would definitely be the cherry on top to a defense that is already on its way up. But a couple of things that I want to point out about Reuben is where he's at mentally, man. Obviously, he had his whole drama with his charges or whatnot, the accusations against him or whatever. And, he was brought here in large part because of a lot of his old college teammates play on the team, and they were not expected to, but the assumption was that they'd help him stay out of trouble. And by and large, that seems to be what is going on. And I as well listened to his recent interview with local reporters, and what I found was that this is a young man that has matured a great deal. He was talking a lot about what he's learned in quarantine, how he's cooking, stuff like that. He definitely seems like a guy who has learned that he has an opportunity here to play a game that he's loved. He mentioned how much he's loved the game of football and how he has to take that serious and take care of his body and do the right things to make sure that he's always on the field and playing this game that he loves and not disrespecting it by doing things that he knows he shouldn't be doing. And when he was asked about his college teammates and how they help, the quote that he said was, "They help me keep my sanity." And I thought that was a big deal, man, because sometimes it just takes getting around the right people and being around the right people that bring the right energy to bring out the best you. And if he can be around those Alabama guys and these other teammates, he even talked a lot about Coach Rivera and how Coach Rivera has already helped him and how he feels like he can trust Coach Rivera and all that. And those are big things, man, not just for the game of football, but for a young man's life. And I'm glad to hear those things coming from Reuben Foster. And I truly believe we're going to get the best Reuben Foster going forward, which is huge for this defense on the field, man. I think when we get into this linebacker talk here in a second, we'll really highlight how much damage Reuben Foster could do and how good this defense could be with a guy like Reuben Foster.
Yeah, hey, man, I couldn't have said that any better, man. I think you hit on points, that are deeper than football with that, and I couldn't agree more. Let's hope Reuben Foster, does that and takes that step, because I believe it's possible.
Yeah, man, and you love to see that. One thing we definitely do not love to see, but we absolutely have to touch on, is the Darius Geis situation. Now, if you don't know, Darius Geis has been charged and accused of some domestic violence accusations. One count of strangulation, which is a federal crime. He's looking at a felony for that one. The story, I believe, was put out by the Washington Post. Apparently, he choked out his significant other or female friend or whatever to the point that she was unconscious. She said that when she awoke, he was tapping her crying. So that was one of 3 incidents that allegedly happened. So, I mean, obviously the Redskins or the Washington football team have moved on and cut him after finding out about the accusations. Coach Rivera said that he spoke to him, and the best thing for the team to do was move forward. I like the move by Coach Rivera. I do think it was the right move to make. Personally, I'm hurt for Darius Geis. If you've ever listened to this pod, I've been a big supporter of Geis. I was expecting him to have a very huge season this year. So this is very disappointing. If these accusations are true, I hope that he seeks help, and I hope that he can turn his life around, because these are horrible accusations, absolutely horrible. There's no one that can spin this in any other way. Like, if these things are true, then he certainly needs to seek help. And I don't know about a football career moving forward. The NFL likes to give guys second chances. He might get a second chance because he's a young guy, but this will definitely be a stain on his career and something that he'll have to live with for the rest of his life. So, Bryce, what are your thoughts, man? That's how I feel about Geis. I know you got some pretty powerful thoughts on this, too, because it's a pretty serious situation. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've got a twofold thought process to this. So first, let me start off by where you left off. I agree with you, man. If these accusations are true, Darius Geis needs to be punished, to what the law requires. I mean, because these accusations are unacceptable. I mean, if you're choking somebody out until they pass out, I mean, that's I don't see where that can ever be something that you could get back into the NFL. But I don't see him ever getting back into the NFL if these accusations, end up being true. And the fact that this happened 3 times just makes it even worse. I mean, one thing I'll say about Ron Rivera's swift action, you got to respect that. You got to respect that, because they're doing all this preaching of a culture, new culture this, new culture that. Well, you're only going to show that with action, and Ron Rivera wasted no time. So I mean, that's how I feel. Like, Darius Geis, this is just horrible accusations, and obviously us both, man, we were both fans of Geis. He was a likable guy. He had us thinking that he was just a super normal type of guy. Just a slightly misunderstood normal guy who liked normal things like us. But, I mean, hindsight is possibly proving that differently. And I hope that he gets help, but even more, I hope that the young lady that, he injured, I hope she receives the help that she needs, and she's able to move past this, and she's able to get through this, because this is horrible. This is just horrible. And so now on the football side of things, I just want to caution everybody that maybe feels like we just lost a huge piece or anything. Like, we didn't really lose much. I mean, Darius Geis had 43, 44 snaps at running back for us. He had one good long run in the regular season. I mean, a couple 8-yard gains that made me think he could be something nice, but he never really contributed anything. He was always hurt. I mean, I don't have to tell you all that as fans. So we didn't lose much at the end of the day. And we'll get into the running backs later. But, I mean, when I first saw that Darius Geis was cut, I didn't even know about the accusations yet. All I saw is Darius Geis cut. I didn't know he was charged with anything. And when I just saw he was cut, I was like, well, I'm not even that mad about him being cut. And that was before I even knew about the accusations. Once I saw the accusations along with it, I was completely fine with moving on from Darius Geis. At the end of the day, man, he was more hope than production anyway, so it was always just a hope that he would come through, the hope that he would be a good running back. Now we don't even have to worry about hoping anymore, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I agree, man. The only thing that we really lost with Darius Geis was potential. And we didn't even really lose that because, like we're about to get into, there's a couple other guys in this running back room with a lot of potential, and we can't forget about the Hall of Famer, AP. So, yeah, at the end of the day, as much as I liked Geis, we really did not lose anything. And, yeah, best of luck to him and his endeavors, and hopefully that young lady does receive some help. But let's keep talking about football, man. Let's get back on a positive note. Let's go ahead and get into these running back positions, man. So, like we just mentioned, we did lose Darius Geis, but that's not a huge loss. And the reasons why are because we got guys like Bryce Love, who's returning, Adrian Peterson, I just mentioned, Antonio Gibson. So, yeah, there's a lot of guys in this running back room. I would say AP is looking like, the lead dog on first and second downs. But we got a couple guys in there that could bring a change of pace, especially on third down. What are you thinking is going to shake out, how this room's going to shake out now that Geis is out the way?
Man, we've got some real position battles heading into 2020, and it does kind of suck that we're not going to be able to see them shake out, especially in the training camp and stuff. But, hey, man, I like what we've got. I've been watching a lot of Bryce Love tape recently, and Bryce Love kind of reminds me of Dalvin Cook a little bit. He finds the hole, he explodes through it, and it's a lot of straight line speed with Bryce Love. Well, held the record as one of the fastest teenagers in the nation. So I think he was like 15, and he had the record in maybe the 200. So yeah, big time track guy. Shout out to my boy T Boogie for giving me that stat. But yeah, big time track guy, man. Straight line speed, and I'm excited to see if he can take this position and run with it. I think that's what it's going to come down to. One of these guys to take command of this position. Antonio Gibson's another interesting guy because, I mean, this guy has great hands. He's in the backfield. Defenses aren't going to know if it's run or pass. He's not super experienced at running back, but in college, every time he got carries, it was just like, I think he averaged like 7 yards a pop or something ridiculous. It was just like he couldn't really be stopped when he got carries. He was better at getting carries than he was receiving. And I think he's just scratching the surface on what he could be as a running back. Rivera and Turner, comparing them to Christian McCaffrey. I don't think they're around a guy like Christian McCaffrey for 4 years just to compare some nobody to him. Like, they really do believe in Gibson. And I could see him running with the position. Then, like you said, AP, man, we done counted AP out for 2 seasons now, and each time he ends up leading us in rushing. So anyone that's counting AP out in this whole conversation, you're definitely mistaken because AP could easily run with this. He's got a good experience with Scott Turner. He knows the offense that Turner's going to be running because they were together in Minnesota. So, I mean, I wouldn't count AP out either. And AP's also, man, he's chasing legends. He's chasing the books right now. He's chasing those numbers. So, when he gets his carries, he's going to be giving it his all. Hey, man, I think we're in a pretty good situation. Whoever wins this running back race, they definitely would have earned it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. We as anybody who covers NFL or considers themselves to be some type of football analyst, you probably count a guy like AP out over and over again just due to the position and his age. But something about a guy like Adrian Peterson is like when he's supposed to fail is when he really succeeds. So, personally, I'm going to keep counting AP out because I think he's going to keep proving me wrong. So, my expectations for AP are a little low this season, but as he often does, he exceeds expectations. So, we'll see how AP goes, but I am super excited, man, about Antonio Gibson for all the reasons you just said. They're not around a guy like McCaffrey just to compare him to some rook who he's not even going to come close to that type of style. So I think Gibson is going to be huge for this offense. I think it sucks that there's no preseason for him, though. It might take a couple weeks for a guy like Gibson to really ramp up and get used to the NFL speed of the game. But I expect big things from him down the line for sure. But let's keep it pushing, man, because another position battle we want to get into before we get out of here is the linebacker group. We got guys like Thomas Davis, Reuben Foster, Cole Holcomb you mentioned earlier. Sean Dion Hamilton could play into the mix, as well as John Bostic. Even Kevin Pierre-Louis, man. There's honestly a lot of linebackers, but there's only going to be 3 spots on the field and really 2 when we're in nickel. So who do you think is going to end up being the middle linebacker, the guy that can really command the huddle and call the plays out there?
That's a good question, man. It seems like that's down to 2 guys right now. John Bostic, who held that position last year as the quarterback of the defense, and Kevin Pierre-Louis, man, who is a guy that's been underused thus far in his NFL career, but every time he gets a shot, a big-time shot like he did in Chicago last year, he shows the athleticism and he shows the ability to explode through gaps and make plays. So I think it comes down to those 2 guys, man. The more and more tape I've watched on KPL, as they call him, Kevin Pierre-Louis, I think he might run with this spot, and I would not be upset with that because he's a lot better athlete, in my opinion, than John Bostic is. So I think it comes down to those 2 guys, man, but I got my money on KPL.
Okay, I like that. I kind of like KPL a little bit better than Bostic, too. Bostic is a real smart player, but he's not the kind of guy that necessarily makes every play, if that makes sense. But he definitely is the kind of guy that can be the quarterback of the defense and make sure everyone's lined up in the right spots and all that kind of stuff. Another guy that can do that, who typically doesn't play middle, he normally plays strong side, is Thomas Davis. Now, he knows Rivera's system, and he knows the kind of defense they want to run. So I could see him getting in the mix a little bit at middle, but his main position is strong side. But then that also begs the question, if Foster's healthy, where do you put Reuben Foster? So now my next question to you is, if you got KPL in the middle, who are your 2 guys on the side?
This is where it gets interesting, man, because it's going to come down to Foster's health. It's going to be a big part of it. Like you said, Thomas Davis is coming in here to be more than just a player on the field, in my opinion. I think he's also coming in here to set the tone of the culture that Rivera wants to establish. So with that said, I could see him still getting a starting spot. Like you said, he's got a wealth of knowledge in his defense, so he could definitely play the middle spot if needed. I think they'll start him out on the outside, and then you could see Reuben getting onto the other side if he's able to be healthy. And then that leaves the odd man out is Cole Holcomb, who was starter last year and showed some big-time potential, and who Jack Del Rio seems to be pretty high on. So I don't know. It's going to be a good competition for that last spot between Holcomb, Foster, and Thomas Davis. I think the one you got to pencil in is Thomas Davis right now, just because of his wealth of knowledge. And then when you're looking at, and then I'll probably say Holcomb on the other side with Reuben Foster as he gets more and more adept to this to this defense, maybe coming in and taking Thomas Davis' spot, maybe 5 to 6 games in.
All right, I agree with you on some of these points. I really, really wish we had preseason because this position battle and the position battle in the secondary are 2 that I absolutely want to see play out. I think it's going to be a revolving door. I think it's going to be a revolving door in the beginning. I think the only person that I can guarantee to be out there for sure is Thomas Davis, and I'm not entirely sure if he'll be strong side or middle. I was listening to some of the beat reporters the other day saying that the coaching staff really, really likes how Thomas Davis knows the entire defense and basically already knows what the coaches want. Like you alluded to it. He's more than just a player, really. He's here to set the tone, and he's here to really spread that knowledge of the defense to make sure guys are up to speed. So I could honestly see them utilizing him in the middle if Foster is healthy, because then you could put Foster in Davis' spot with Davis in the middle lining guys up, and then that leaves Cole Holcomb, who I think absolutely has to be out there. I think if we're talking pure talent of if we're talking just the three best linebackers on the team, I would say Thomas Davis, Reuben Foster, Cole Holcomb. So those are the three guys, regardless of how you line them up, you need to have them. Those are the three guys that I would want out there in base. A guy that we're not talking about too much that I think will definitely factor into the mix because he's also a smart player is Sean Dion Hamilton. Not exactly sure where he would fit in because I think these other guys are a little bit more talented. But if he can learn the defense and make plays, then I don't see how you can keep a guy like that off the field either. Really, the Washington football team has a lot of talent at the linebacker position, and it's almost a crapshoot in my opinion, man. You're going to be flipping some coins to really find out who deserves to be out there because it's almost a dead even race here.
Yeah, man, that's facts. That's facts, bro. And I forgot about my guy Sean Dion Hamilton. He's actually one of my favorite linebackers that we've got, to be honest. And I think that he could be a sleeper to come in and take that middle linebacker position. He's one of those silent lead by example types. But everywhere he goes, guys always got that respect for him. All the Alabama guys have a ton of respect for him. And he was the leader of that defense when he was there. He played the middle position for that defense. So I could see Sean Dion Hamilton running with that spot. It doesn't seem like the coaches are that high on him yet, though. I don't know. Have you noticed that? It doesn't seem like Del Rio or Rivera are doing a ton of talk about Dion Hamilton.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much talk about Dion Hamilton at all. It really seems like Foster is their guy. They definitely want Foster out there. Thomas Davis, obviously. And I've heard a lot about Bostic and KPL. But I think Holcomb and Dion Hamilton, man, they both got talent and they both are smart players. So I just don't see how. Really, man, you're right. Foster's health is going to be the biggest determinant thing to all of this. If Foster is healthy, he's out there no matter what, over pretty much all these guys. But if he's not healthy, then these other guys are in a genuine who's playing better, and it's going to be hard to see exactly how it shakes out without preseason games. But I think we're in a good position at linebacker. Whoever ends up going out there, I have faith in for sure.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. We're in a good spot. We're in a good spot at that position.
All right, man. And our last topic today, last but not least, is obviously the team is going through a bit of rebranding, we shall say. The name has changed. The logo is being removed from every possible space it could be removed from. So let's talk about these helmets, man. We came out with these new helmets with the numbers on them. I noticed on Twitter you like these helmets, man. You're advocating to keep them beyond the 2020 season. So what are your thoughts on how the rebranding is going, man? And what are some things you think we should keep and some things that we should possibly continue to change as we go forward?
Man, I think the beautiful thing about a rebrand is that, at least the beautiful thing about the way this rebrand is unfolding is initially, we were all kind of blown that they didn't decide on a name. Me and Rome, we were both on the Red Wolves team. That's what we wanted to see it be named to. But with the way it's going, we're going to be able to actually create things on accident. You know what I mean? When they probably put those numbers on the helmet, they didn't probably think it would get great reaction. They were probably just like, we got to do something. We got to get rid of the logo. Let's just put the numbers on. But fans are seeing that, and they're seeing those iconic colors, and that number actually looks better than that logo ever did, in my opinion. Like, I love the way those numbers look on the side of the helmet, and I would love to keep that past 2020 if there is no better option, or at least make that helmet an option for us, every time. Like, that's one of our helmets. There's they used to do teams have different helmets. Every year we get one of the memorial helmets from the old school days. So maybe that could just be one of our helmets where we got those numbers on the side. I like it. We're ushering in a new culture, a new era, new tradition. That could be something that stays for the long haul, man. I love it, honestly. What do you think about the numbers on the helmet?
Honestly, man, I agree with you. I love the numbers on the helmet. Even if we end up getting a new logo and a new team mascot and all that, and they change it past the season, I think this will be iconic. I think all the things that they're going to come up with, all the gear that they come out with, you're definitely going to want to get you some if you're a true fan of this team, because the 2020 season will be something to remember. It'll be the year that we were the Washington football team, whatever the name changes to in the future, which I still believe will be Red Wolves. from what I've heard, they really want to go with what the fans want. The majority of the fans have been saying Red Wolves, and really this year is just this year they want to use it to see what the fans really want. And I believe the fans will continue to push Red Wolves, and it'll end up being that in 2021. But as far as the 2020 season goes, I think this will be a very historic season for the team, regardless of what happens during the actual play. But yeah, I think when you look back on the 2020 season in 2040, you'll wish that you had some Washington football team gear. So all the fans out there listening, man, don't be discouraged by the lack of a name. Don't let these haters from other teams, y'all ain't got no name, the football team, ha. I've been hearing it every damn day from these people, man. Like, don't let these people get you down. They're going to be real hurt when they lose to a team that doesn't have a mascot and no name. So just remember that. And definitely get you some gear and stay in support of this team. Just like the team, though, we are also going to be going through a bit of rebranding here at Hail to the Culture. So be on the lookout for some cool new things from us this season. We're going to get you some video shorts and have all kinds of new interactive ways for you guys to get down with the pod. As always, we're powered by Gas Sports. If you guys haven't been checking out the Sports for the Culture show, please do. That's live on Twitter and YouTube every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Bryce, what else we got going on for these people, man?
Man, we got a ton of stuff, but some things we just can't speak on just yet. But one thing I will tell the people is to stay tuned to the Gas Network app, man. If you ever want to listen to Hail to the Culture, you don't want to do it the long way, you don't feel like searching, hey, you just need the Gas Network app on your phone. Whenever you want to hear me and Rome chop it up about the Redskins, you can simply click the app and go to the Hail to the Culture under the Watch section. Very easy to find the Gas Network app. Just go to your app store and search Gas Network. The first thing that pops up, download it. Make sure to give it the 5 stars.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And please be on the lookout for that Sports for the Culture show. If you haven't already been peeping it, you definitely want to get onto that. It's the fastest growing sports show, in my opinion, the best sports show going right now.
It definitely is, man. Every Tuesday, 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, man. So, as always, Hail to the Culture, and we are out.
Hail to the Culture.
My hitters be moving and shaking and stay out the streets. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. My hitters be moving and shaking and stay out the streets. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster, snuff the money mover. Snuff the hater, snuff the player, snuff your hairline, tape up and shape up. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the